What a frustrating performance. What a frustrating result that was yesterday. Man United obviously draw 2-2 with Burnley at Turf Moor. I've seen a lot of people arguing, maybe on one hand you could argue we deserve more from the match. Darren Fletcher said he felt like we deserved more from the match. We said we created enough chances. But I feel like when you go back and actually watch the performance, especially in the first half, especially a lot of those individual performances, you could also make the argument that we didn't deserve anything from that match. I just felt like there were a lot of people making a lot of bad mistakes. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Maybe there's a factors involved, like switching to a different system. But any of the individual roles that these players had last night were roles that they're well used to. They've played long before amorim got here, and they'll be playing more. So I don't think that 14 months is going to completely derail what people naturally do. But it is what it is. We'll get into it. Everything that I said to look for in the preview pretty much happened, from the starting 11 to the way that Burnley played to cut out passing lanes, cutting off the midfield, the threat of Jaden Anthony, the way that United were going to play, especially from the build-up. Pretty much all that happened. And I've got three thoughts on the match. So obviously last night, Dylan and I did our initial match reaction on the Kickabout. You can go back and watch that show if you haven't yet done so. But you guys know I always like to do my three takeaways on the match as well. Three things that stood out to me, three things I want you guys to look out for. I can't wait to share them with you. I want your thoughts too, though, as we go along. So make sure you're getting involved in the chat as well. Who's here in the chat already? Dylan's in the house. Hit me with his real account, not the teacher burner account. Says Lacey needs more game time. He's got the energy and drive this team has been dying for. I've got thoughts on Shea Lacey. We're going to go in on that a little later on. But yeah, big up. I agree. I absolutely agree. We talked about it last night. Big up. Danny B is in the house. Yes, please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. I love to get us there. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I see we've got more subscribers after each stream. So keep it going, you guys. Keep sharing the love. Keep building the community. Gets everybody closer to a giveaway, perhaps, as well. So you don't get anything from the Mega Store this time. That came and gone, but we'll see what we can hook you up with. Let's start with a little bit of news, because not too much news going on. There's not a lot of transfer stuff going on. Obviously, right now, everyone's holding their breath until the manager decision is decided. But in addition to Harry Amos returning to United after his loan with Sheffield Wednesday expired in January, remember, he's coming back. We've also apparently recalled Sonny Aljofree and Louis Jackson from their loans at Notts County and Solihull Moors, respectively, as well. They just weren't getting minutes. You have to get minutes when you're a loanee. That's the point of being on loan, right? And so it makes sense that they're back. It makes sense that we're calling him. Hopefully we can send them back out on loan this month, find some place where they're going to get some minutes, and then go from there. But yeah, getting minutes is most important. So let me know if you guys have been watching any of these guys play in the lower league stuff. Dylan and I did get to go see Ethan Ennis at Fleetwood when we were there a couple weeks ago. We went to Salford versus Fleetwood, and so Ennis looks very, very good. Bright young talent. So I like what I see. Hopefully, maybe we'll see something in him maybe in the future. But he is getting up there in age, so we'll see how it goes. But all right, let's talk about this match here, because again, not much news. But overall, I mean, it was one of those games where it was like stats versus watching us they completely fight each other, right? One shot on target from Burnley and 2 goals. So it's because we committed an OG by Aiden Heaven, which I don't blame him for. He did everything he needed to do there, and he probably did more than he really should have done. Go back and watch that goal. But it's kind of been the story of our season, right? Lamens doesn't have anything to do most of the match, but still we somehow concede from the 1 or 2 chances that the opposition gets. We've been doing that for a while now. United, on the other hand, 30 shots, 21 shots from inside the box, 10 shots on target, 5 big chances, 43 touches inside their box, an XG of 2.55, and just 2 goals to show from it. Not quite good enough. We had some really good chances. Heaven had a good chance. Sesko had some chances as well. We had a goal chalked off for some absolute bullshit. I mean, but again, aside from pressing us just nonstop pressure, cutting off the lane, Burnley weren't really threatening. They weren't really doing anything. But again, that's also been the story of our season. We struggle too when we have most of the ball. Average of 65% possession last night. I think it was like 69% in the first half too. But we just failed to find the back of the net, despite all the chances we create, despite Sesko getting a brace and whatnot. We just could not find the back of the net. We were better in our 1v1s on the night, to be fair. The duels and take-ons were much, much better than Burnley's. I think we outdid them in every single metric in that regard. But at the end of the day, No offense to Burnley, that's to be expected. We should be beating Burnley. We should not be managing a 3-2 victory in August because of a pen. We should not be drawing 2-all at Turf Moor. Like, it just shouldn't be happening. These players are better than what they showed last night, and they're not going to get off the hook. So I don't look at winning the duels or the dribbles as a victory at all because it was a shit performance. Still, though, Darren Fletcher, big up to Bassi. Good to see you. Still, Darren Fletcher, he did set out with a bit more aggression. He set out with a bit more attacking intent, a bit more of a intentional kind of direct setup compared to our match against Leeds. So this was our average position last night compared to Leeds. So last night's on the left, Leeds match on the right. You can see we are a bit more direct. We are a bit more getting everybody a little further forward. Obviously, you can see Sesko's average position was well ahead of where he usually is. Wingers kind of taking up wider positions, two midfielders kind of holding. And obviously, there's about as clear as a back four as you can get, really. So from the get-go, you could tell Fletcher was all about. And I said this going into it. We're probably going to see a lot of what we saw like against with Rude when he was in charge. Get the ball forward, get some numbers in the box. Now with Fletcher, it was a little more of let's put the crosses in the box, which we should have been doing all season long. I don't think we've helped Sesko out in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to show you in a little bit. We've been playing Sesko all wrong. We've been playing him like we played Hoyland, and it's not what you need to do. But who stood out for you last night as far as individuals go? I want to know who kind of passed the test for you guys a little bit. I thought Dorgu was good. I thought he got in his assist. It was a really good assist, a really good cross for Sesko. Dorgu won the most duels of the night. He was the most foul player in the night. I've seen some people argue that Kyle Walker should have seen a red card. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't think that I would have wanted to see the red card for that. Kyle Walker was immediately apologetic, immediately helped him up and everything. I wouldn't have wanted a red card for that. I didn't think. Now, it's one of those instances where I would have been upset had Dorgu tried to make a meal of it. I would have been like, all right, like, that's not okay. But then again, karma would say, well, Kyle Walker didn't have a problem doing that in the first half. So make of that what you will. The boxer said it's a good thing Fletcher sat down with Sesko and gave him tips. I mean, do you think that's what happened? I think maybe. I think we just shifted the way we use Sesko, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what I mean by that. So keep that up. I've got my 3 thoughts. Sesko is one of them. Danny B says Lacey stood out. Yeah, of course, Lacey's going to stand out when you come on and you rifle off a couple shots like that. Of course, he's gonna turn some heads, man, for sure. Debazi says Kyle Walker's a cheat. Again, I would not have wanted Dorgu to roll around and make a meal out of that personally. If Kyle Walker hadn't immediately like put his hand on him and apologized and said, "Yep, that was an accident, my bad," like I would have been a little bit more upset, but it is what it is. Accidents are going to happen. Yeah, Sesko did step up in the second half. We finally started getting that ball forward a little bit and started finding him a little bit. Bruno, of course, was good. Obviously got his assist back from injury. I thought Shaw was decent. If you deep Shaw's numbers, they were actually pretty good. I thought Shaw looked very good last night. And obviously Sesko. We're going to talk a little bit about Sesko later on as well. But so get your thoughts in, you guys. I've got mine as well. I want to hear what you guys have to say, starting with, let me switch this up a little bit. There we go. That's better. My photo's not showing up. My bad, guys. Number 1, lazy and sloppy last night. So last night I talked about this little moment that led to their opening goal. If you guys remember this from last night, that Casemiro, Dallo kind of literally just standing there ball watching. I don't really know what they're doing, honestly. They're both flat-footed. They're both square. They're both just watching the ball. Nobody is watching that runner whatsoever. And boom, flies right in, gets the ball. Sesko now has to go and get him because they not only did they stand there and let him walk by, they didn't even bother trying to get back, really. But there was a lot of that going on last night. It was really, 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 really frustrating. Device says midfield was off. Yeah, midfield was shit last night. Wasn't very happy about that. But yeah, go and watch last night's show. If you want a little bit more of that as well, more talk about Burnley managers, photos from the trip and everything. But I spoke about this moment specifically, and I'll do it again, is because it was a microcosm of our overall performance. These little switching off, these little flat-footed, this little passive, no pressure on the ball. This was happening quite a bit last night, and it's nothing new. We've seen this under Ten Hag, under Amorim. These players they don't show up sometimes. And we've seen throughout the season, all it takes is a little moment like that for us to completely drop points. We saw it against Forest, saw it against Spurs and Bournemouth and stuff, Aston Villa. And it's the same thing again. Once again, switching off leads to a goal. And I don't blame Heaven for that. It not only led to their first goal, though, but this sort of passivity also led to Jaden Anthony's goal as well, his late equalizer. Lacey gets completely sold by a bit of trickery, done for pace, gives Anthony just a little bit of space to get away that shot and find the far corner. I don't understand why people are going in on Senna Lamens for that, if I'm being quite honest. There's nothing you could do when there's that kind of defending in front of him personally. But, haters going to hate, I guess. But I don't blame Senna Lamens for that at all. Just need to be a bit more clinical in one box, and we need to be a bit more switched on our own. We cannot afford, again, this is why that we're conceding the chances we get. These are the differences, the reasons why we're constantly dropping points against sides we should be beating. It's the reason why we're continually failing to grab hold of top four when the opportunities to do so could not be any more open to us. It's just a little bit of switching off, lack of focus, lack of mentality, and boom, you're dropping points, and there's nothing you can do about it. We've seen it time and time again. It's not going to stop unless some of these players either fuck off or they fix up. You guys know my motto, fix up or fuck off. Some of them are way past the point of waiting for them to fix up, though. Some of them just need to go. I'm talking about Dallo. Casemiro will be gone. Ugarte is probably not good enough. Look, it needs a whole rebuild, man. Like, I feel like we keep saying that, man. It's so annoying. But Tobias says Lacey movements were almost like Lamine Yamal. Yeah, we're going to talk about Lacey because he gets his own little special thing tonight. But yeah, I thought it was lazy. Thought it was sloppy. Big up, Kai. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, it was just more of the same shit we've seen from us. And again, if that first half had been just a little bit more switched on, who knows what might have happened otherwise. But it's just the same culprits, man. Dallo, Casemiro, just not doing good enough. But let me know who else was a culprit there. Moving on. Number 2, Sesko, baby. You could tell in recent weeks that Benjamin Sesko's confidence was very, very low. But hey, what a way to turn it around, right? I mean, he's like just the movement we saw tonight. The brace against Burnley, obviously the brace last night was a thing of beauty. All around, I thought he looked good. Arguably our best looking player on the night in terms of performance. The only player who looked like he was going to make anything happen for us. Outperformed his XG, if you guys looked at those numbers. His movement for his goals, too, by the way, was perfect. So here's this opportunity. We played a nice little kind of triangle on the wide left side. Dorgu goes on a run, gets on the end of this. Sesko reads this situation. Now, he starts with a little bit of a dummy run to the right, which pulls the defender there. And then immediately when the defender is pulled to the right, Sesko is going to run where that arrow is, and he's going to go inside, splitting the two defenders, getting into that corridor of uncertainty, which is where he got his second goal. That's great movement. I've said last night, and I'll say it again. When I talk about movement from strikers as an underrated, but probably one of the most vital characteristics, aside from obviously finishing, that's what I mean. That kind of movement. Read the situation, find space, time your runs, anticipate, be patient. That's what I mean by movement. Good movement all around. Solid in the link-up play as well. I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but his link-up play was absolute thing of beauty. And he was a willing runner, too. Like, let's watch this little clip here from this run. So, obviously, we win the ball back from a corner, and Sesko is just going to absolutely book it. I had to slow it down so I don't get done. But he's coming. He's right about to pass the referee, and he is booking it. He is booking. Gets on the end of that right there. Turns, holds it up. Like, he busted his ass to get there and then win that corner. Let's watch it again. Comes all the way from back. He's got so much space to cover. He passes everybody. And fair play to Ugarte for the ball. It was a good ball with the outside of his foot. I thought it was very good from Sesko last night. A lot of good movement, a lot of really good running. And that's what I need to see from him. More of that kind of stuff. Bexy says Casemiro is a 50-minute player now. Yeah. Whatever happened to Casemiro on that last international break, dude, he's done. He's absolutely done, dude. He just gets caught flat-footed time and time again. Bexy says Sesko, in my opinion, could develop into a real threat. He has a bit of everything. He does. I don't care that he's not the fastest. I really don't need him to be the fastest. Movement is not about pace. It's about just anticipation and reading the situation. It's about timing more than anything. And he does that really, really well. Most shots on target in a single game of anybody in the Premier League this season last night for Sesko. Very good. Had he sorted his feet out for maybe that ball from Shaw, or had Dallow's cross later on not been a little behind him, he might have even got his hat trick as well. It is a shame that he's been back from his injury right around the same time Bruno picked up his injury. Would have liked to see them link up a little bit more. I do think that with Bruno on the pitch, Sesko's chances of getting service are going to be much better. And quite frankly, I mean, it's a shame that we haven't been using him like more to his strengths. We've not been playing to his strengths very frequently. And so this was his heat map last night from where he was getting the touches. You can see he was a willing runner, getting into those channels to kind of hold up the play when necessary. But most of the time, his touches were in Burnley's box. And we haven't been doing that a whole lot this weekend, or since this season, I mean. So this is last night's heat map for Sesko. These are heat maps from like the last several matches. And you can see the big difference is the way we've been using him. You already saw the average position much deeper, closer to midfield, playing as a bit more link up. I mean, I didn't put the names of the matches on here, but these are like the last 4 matches prior to this one. So the Wolves match is bottom right, so we did try to take advantage of him a little bit more in the Wolves match, but you can see we've mainly been using him as a link-up for runners in around him, which I don't mind necessarily, but this is what kind of comes back to the whole Amorim not having a plan B thing, is where's the plan B? It's fine to use Sesko like that. It's a little bit of how Leipzig used him, but getting him in the box, I mean, we saw the hang time he got on that header as well. Like, that's where you want Sesko, and we haven't been utilizing that. Furthermore, people forget that Sesko's 22 years old. Like, he's far from the finished article, like far from the finished article altogether, man. That doesn't mean he's off the hook for some of the sitters that he's missed. But again, I'm just trying to maintain context here. He's far from the finished article whatsoever. But again, I think you put the ball in the box, he will get something for you. Not always. He's missed some sitters, like the Wolves match. We probably should have won that. But is this him turning a corner? Will the goals start flowing now? Has Sesko finally arrived at United? It remains to be seen, but I like what I saw last night. More of that, please. But hey, before my third takeaway, make sure you make sure you subscribe, please. It does help the channel a lot. I do appreciate it. Let me get involved here in the chat real quick, y'all. Bexy says attacking positions, Sesko and Bumo Cunha. Bruno is a great attack. Yeah, I like that, man. I do like that. Trevor Cross, welcome to the channel. Says, when will United learn to not sit back when they are winning every game? They do it when City score. They try to get another. Yeah, that is one of the criticisms I had under Amorim. I do feel like even like against Newcastle. So Dylan and I were at the Newcastle match. And not only, again, was another instance of, oh, we're 1-0 up at half. Let's play the whole half parking the bus. But not only that happens, but you could feel like you can't really see it on TV, but in the stands, the fans were just not having it. We were grumbling, we were moaning about it. We were not happy with that tactic. It was super annoying. The boss says Neville and the other Sky Planet were not impressed by Sesko. Well, if you're talking about Tim Sherwood can go fuck himself, honestly. Begsy said Fletcher spoke really well and made the correct subs. Also happy for Johnny Evans. Yeah, I completely forgot Johnny Evans was involved as well. Tabasi says the City game will be a test. It will. If Ollie is appointed and Ollie's here in time for City match, then that might be 3 points in the bag, because Ollie had Pep's number. Just absolutely had Pep's number when he was here. Trevor says Xerxes is a waste of space. Yeah, I didn't think Xerxes was great last night. Personally, I thought he was really bad last night. Back says the Amorim era whistleblower. You guys are funny, man. You guys are hilarious. So moving on, number 3. Crap, I don't know what's going on with my photos. My photos just, they're not loading into the slideshow. But number 3, Shea Lacey. What did I say about Shea Lacey in the preview? Bring him on around the 85th minute, and he will get a few shots off. And sure enough, he did, man. He was confident showed no fear, cutting in down to his right foot to get some shots off, man. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put one up here in a second. Hold up. Let me put this goal on there for you. It's a problem when you're doing this all by yourself. This was his attempt. Once I get my mouse figured out, there we go. If you guys remember this, cutting in onto his left-hand side is rifling off a shot off the crossbar. This is pretty much exactly what he did when he came out against Aston Villa as well. I'll watch it again. I got to slow it down again for you. So again, this is Gareth Bale-esque. This is Arjen Robben-esque. This is exactly the kind of stuff we saw those guys do time and time again. And then his second effort, if you guys remember his second effort just went wide of the target. It was going top bins and then curled out. But can you imagine the reaction? Can you imagine the reaction, especially right behind the stands, if that had gone in to win the match? Like, my wife probably would have lost a client because I would have been absolutely losing my shit, man. It would have been amazing. And the kid gets stuck in too. Defensive action. He got a defensive action. He won his only ground duel that he contested last night. It was pretty much the same again, like I said, when he came on against Aston Villa as well. But I'm going to be honest. One of you guys mentioned, Xerxes didn't look great. I think he didn't look great either. Lacey already looks better than a couple of our senior players when it comes to just that willingness to attack, willingness to get stuck in, willingness to just go for it. He backs himself. Yes, it's a lot that has to do with youth, but I don't have a problem with it. He came on and looked amazing. Like, it just is what it is. We need to temper that confidence, though. We need to try to harness that because there's going to be a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of praise. We've seen that go to the heads of some young players in the last couple of years. I do see a lot of Rashford and Garnacho in him in the way he plays. I just hope he doesn't overhype himself like they did. I hope he can stay clear of the injuries that kind of put a damper on his development a little bit. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see him get a start soon. Just this is how I feel. But you guys let me know what you feel about Lacey. Sorry that photo wasn't working. That was messed up. But Becky says, Manu was a poor last night. Yes, he's kept back from injury. Some of his decisions were bad, Manu. I thought that shot at the end was not the right decision. He did well at one point, I thought, to track back and win the ball back and then kind of launch another attack. So highs and lows, but the shot at the end, but a lot of people are doing that. Casemiro had another one. Ugarte had a couple. Like, it's going to happen, but that's game management. I would have liked to have seen him maybe lay that ball off for Xerxes. Kai says, Xerxes is like Cunha, sometimes world-class, but most of the time invisible. Yeah, Cunha had another bad night last night. His touch was just letting him down. His passing was letting him down. He's probably frustrated. I mean, he comes in for one manager and that manager's gone. So now he's got to completely shift and play almost a different role. He came in to be a 10 and now we're either going to put him on the wing or let him kind of operate in that channel a little bit. We'll see what happens with Cunha, how we ended up using him for the rest of the season. I think that he's one of those players who could play on the wing. He could play as a 10, second striker. He could play as a 9 if you need him to. He can play a variety of roles. I don't have a problem with that at all, personally. But we'll see. Should he be doing better? Probably, but I'm not going to argue with a lot of the work rate and a lot of what he does for us since he's been here. But I would have liked some better decision-making, more passing, less trying to dribble through the entire team on his own. Then I think he could do a lot more for us. But it's another game, though, where another goal would have seen us up to fourth place. It's just one of those days, right? Again, though, when you've got two cleared off the line, Heaven's free headers just wide, you've got a few that are rattling off the crossbars and stuff and going right at the keeper, you just sort of get that feeling as a United fan that it's just not going to be our night. And it's instead of fourth, we find ourselves in seventh after Newcastle managed to bag a very, very late winner against Leeds in like the 102nd minute of that match. Absolutely nuts. Still, we are only one. We're tied on points. We're just behind them on goal differential, and it's just the one goal. So there's that. I'm not going to freak out like some other content creators. There's a reason I don't watch a whole lot of United content creators now, because I do feel like a lot of people are now just intentionally being over the top or overly negative to try to find their kind of niche to kind of stand out. I may be boring sometimes. I'm not. If that's what you want, you're not going to get it here. So you can go watch one of those on channels. I'm not going to name drop because I don't judge. It's just not my thing. But it is what it is. But we're just one behind on goal differential. Again, we should have really been fourth. It just is what it is. Stuart Atwell can fuck off for chalking off that opening goal after Kyle Walker throws himself to the ground for Leach's goal. I mean, there was way more contact on Bayindir when Arsenal beat us with that fluky corner to start the season than there was on Kyle Walker. That's some absolute bullshit. That was a weak decision, I thought. Tim Sherwood can actually get fucked for his comments on Sesko as well, which he doubled down on full time, which honestly, it's infuriating, it's frustrating, it's embarrassing for him, but it's human nature. People, for some reason, have the most difficult time admitting when they're wrong. And they like to think that it's confidence to back your stance when when amidst like contradictory evidence, but really it's just stubborn and insecure. You people just can't admit when they get something wrong, or maybe even like, no, I'm not wrong. Maybe I just like went a little too soon with my opinion. Like, I don't know why that's so difficult for people to do, but there's a fine line between backing yourself and being stubborn. And Tim Sherwood pole vaulted over it last night like an absolute dick. Trevor Cross says 30 shots, only 10 on target. Yeah, bad. Like 40 something touches in the box, 5 chances. Yeah, it was not good. But that's been the story of our season. That's been the story for a while now with a lot of these players. It's just the clinical edge in the final third. Like the final ball is not there. The shots just marginally off target. I do think Sesko, if you notice the difference when Sesko, his second goal in particular last night, that's the difference right there. His body language, he lost a lot of that stiffness from like the Wolves match, and he let that ball come across him, open up his body a little bit, and direct it to the far corner. Whereas in, I don't know, Leeds, the ball comes to him and he tries to get onto it as soon as possible, and he puts it wide to the left. That right there is the difference. One, your body's loose, you're not as stiff, you're opening it up far post. The other one, too stiff, hunched over, get on the end of it, you kind of overfluff your lines a little bit, and it goes wide to the left. That is the epitome of confidence versus lack of confidence. Like I said, we need to see more of the confidence. We need to see more of the latter. Bexy says, United will beat City. Big shout. Big shout. The Boxy says, Pro Ammon versus Pro Club versus Pro Glazers. It's going. I don't think anybody's Pro Glazers. I don't think anyone's been Pro Glazers for the last 25 years or so, man. Danny says, I doubt he'd be back on. Oh, Sky loves a bit of controversy. I just when it's clear that it's just complete bias and people are just refusing to just admit, okay. And here's the thing: if you just don't have to say anything, just let the match play out, because now you look like an absolute fucking idiot, and you don't want to double down on yourself because you don't want to look like an idiot, but you make yourself look even worse by just doubling down on it. It's absolute dog shit, dude. Beck says, Dorgu looking better. Yeah, Dorgu I thought was very good last night. People forget he just turned 21 a couple months ago, too. He's very, very young. Needs to work on his crossing. But again, his movement, his energy, his willingness to get stuck in, take one for the team. Like I said, he won the most duels last night, got fouled the most. He provided that assist. He's got everything he needs aside from just the stuff that you expect to see from someone older, like Euro, like some of these young players. He's not the finished article. That's just is what it is. So, but that doesn't excuse some of the poor crossing, but it is good to see Bruno and Mount back fit. Bruno now has 8 assists on the season, the most in the Premier League. And he was also out for 3 matches, and he still got the most assists in the Premier League. Most chances created in the league too right now. So, but that's nothing new from Bruno. We've seen that since he arrived. He's been literally the best midfielder in the Premier League since he arrived. From a chance creation standpoint, it's just hands down. We've got some big fixtures coming up, though, so we are going to need everybody fit. It's good that they're back fit. I'd like to see Maguire, De Ligt get back in. One of Mazraoui or Mbeumo will be back this weekend, so because Cameroon play Morocco tomorrow in the AFCON quarterfinals, I think. So hopefully we're getting people back. I love Ivory Coast to get knocked out so we can get everybody back fit and have some rotations. So it is Brighton in the FA Cup this weekend. I really, really, really want us to win that this year. I think that would be absolute stunner. I do think that if Ollie were appointed and he goes on another run like he did when he first came in as interim, I do think that could be our cup. That could be our route into Europe. You never know, but we'll see. We'll be back to preview that one soon. We do have a scouting report special coming up. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that tonight or if I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. I'll keep you guys posted, so keep a lookout for it. Best way to make sure you don't miss out is to make sure that notification bell is hit. Like and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Check the memberships as well. It's the best way to get involved in the channel. There's a post in the community tab to leave suggestions for Starting 11 and Legends members if you want to get involved in the scouting reports, suggestions, what if episode ideas, all that stuff. There is a WhatsApp group for Starting 11 and Legends members. There is a post for that as well. So you can check that out, get involved, because just because the stream ends doesn't mean the conversation has to. So it's a great way to keep the conversation going. Please don't share it. Please be respectful. I don't want to have to go through the hassle of making a new one. But Lamens, Bruno, and Dorgu have all been nominated for Premier League Save and Premier League Goals of the Month, respectively. So you guys know what to do with that one. Go vote. Have your say. Let me check in with the chat real quick, guys. Get your last-minute thoughts in. Please make sure you're like and subscribe, though, before we get out of here. Like I said, it wasn't going to take up too much of your time today, but I did want to come by and get your thoughts on the match. Lucky Sings in the house. Ineos Glazers out. Big up, man. Short and sweet. I like it. um, Lucky says we need midfield. Oh, we definitely need midfielders. I don't know how you guys feel about like, and I'm starting to think that maybe like the common sense that I applied to Ineos when it came to the whole project, the sporting project, not relying on a manager. I'm starting to think that what I thought was common sense is just not the way Ineos are going. Because if we don't sign a midfielder, if we don't sign anybody this month and it has to do with a manager situation, then I call bullshit because we shouldn't be in a situation where we're relying on that. The players we've been signing should have the mentality and the versatility and the experience to be able to play and the skill to be able to play for any manager in any system. It does not make sense to put a hold on transfers just because the manager's situation's up in the air. If this drags on to the end of the month and it's used as an excuse to not make signings, I'm going to be livid. That tells me everything you need to know about the ambition of these owners. If that's the way they're going to approach it, you need midfielders. You need midfielders right now. There's no excuse to wait until the summer. The sporting project is independent of the manager in charge, or at least it should be. I'm afraid that it's not. And I'm afraid that maybe got that one wrong because we were under the impression that it wasn't going to matter. When you call someone a head coach, that means that the transfer process and the recruitment is less in their hands. You've got this best in class team now that should be continuing to work regardless of who's in charge. And it's super annoying, man. It's absolutely annoying. Let's see what we got here. Bexy says, I've got a feeling United aren't going to sign anyone in January, even though we desperately need a midfielder. I kind of get United's position, even though I'm in the middle. I don't get it. I don't think it's a valid excuse personally. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. We should have had targets while Amorim was here. We had targets in the summer. We tried to supposedly go in for Balebo, believe what you want. Conor Gallagher. There's no reason to just put a hold on all that shit. There's no reason, like whatsoever. Tobias says Lucky was going to sell Sesko before the match yesterday. Lucky, I'm American, man. That's harsh. Goals for George, man. How you doing? Says it's been a minute. Goals says I'm glad you watched the famed Amorim Ball live at Old Trafford. You could see the live the Dross global fans had to endure. Abandoning the academy should be a sack. I don't think he abandon the academy. He's given 5 youngsters their debut since he's been here, Amorim. So I don't think he's abandoned it. I just would have liked to have seen him use it a bit more. Like the other day against Leeds, I thought bringing on Lacey for Dorgu with like 10 minutes to go would have been the better call to make, but it is what it is. But Amorim has given Lacey, Fredrickson, Montato, Amos, and Fletcher their first team debuts. That's more than Ten Hag gave to youngsters as well. I think it's probably more than Ollie if I want to really think back. So he's given debuts. I just got the feeling that toward the end it did become a little bit about maybe saving face, but who knows? We might never know. But welcome back, Goals. Good to see you again, my friend. Guys, get your last minute thoughts in before I let you get out. I got to go finish doing some stuff. I got to go work on all sorts of shit. Bexy says in January, clubs will want a lot more in transfer price. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care at all. I'm not like mad at you. I'm not trying to say that's dumb, like a dumb statement. I just don't care if that's where Ineos come from. It's a World Cup summer, so it's going to be infinitely more difficult to get players in the summer. You have to wait. We saw that happen before with the Club World Cup. There's no reason to neglect. Yeah, you might have to spend a little bit more to get someone in January, but that could be the difference between a deep FA Cup run. It could be the difference between qualifying for top 4 or not, depending on what you actually do, which will pay for itself. If you spend 20 more million over the odds to get a midfielder in January than waiting to the summer, but you go deep in the FA Cup and you qualify for Europe, that pays for itself like 5-fold. Like it's math. It's just math at that point. Bexy says, but United are trying to be sustainable. It makes more sense to push a little harder and try to qualify for something than not. It really does. And at the end of the day, the more money you spend on transfers isn't as bad as the amount of money that you're going to waste sacking managers. I mean, Ineos have spent like 30 million between Ten Hag, Ashworth, and Amorim. Like that, the fans, the club, the squad shouldn't suffer because of their incompetence. That's like restaurants charging double for food because during COVID, the cost of shipping and shit went up. Customers shouldn't have to eat that cost. That's the restaurant business. You got into the business. That just comes with it. I used to get so mad going to trivia because we went to this trivia place nearby, and pre-COVID and post-COVID, the prices got larger and the portions got smaller. Like if I order a hamburger, I shouldn't have to pay an extra $4 just to get French fries. When you order a hamburger at a restaurant, French fries are assumed. That's just part of it. And I used to get so mad about that stuff, man. Maybe that's just a sign that I'm getting old. I don't know. Y'all let me know, man. Lucky one, João Gomez, Ruben Neves. There's no excuse not to. Ruben Neves is almost a free hit. Hackney's a free hit. Lamine Kamara, Mamadou Sangare. These guys are free hits. They're not expensive. They're going to cost you 25, 30 million. Ruben Neves should not cost you more than 12, 15 million tops. He's out of contract in the summer. He doesn't want to sign a new one. You shouldn't be paying 20 million for Ruben Neves. You shouldn't be paying more than 15 million for Ruben Neves. Bexy says, Ruben Neves, I bet, will be asking for large wages. You give Ruben Neves a 3-year contract, you pay him like 150 to 175K a week, and he's fine. He's not going to get anywhere near what he's going to get in the Saudi league. No club's going to pay him that. He has to know that. It's just not going to happen. He got his money. Come back to the Premier League, man. Goal says, wouldn't buy any midfielder experiencing a purple patch due to the World Cup, but rather properly scouted. Yeah, you never buy players on the back of tournaments. You just don't. Sir Alex used to say that all the time. This isn't Florentino Perez. Again, can anyone tell me where James Rodriguez is playing his football now? The guy's jumped around so many clubs. Sometimes you can get it right. Keylor Navas had a good World Cup and he did very well for Real Madrid, but most of the time you don't. That's just how it goes. But I mean, thankfully we're not Real Madrid. I would never want an owner like Florentino Perez. It's so bad. That's like Todd Bowley level nonsense, man. But that's going to be it for me, you guys. I appreciate you stopping by. If you weren't able to catch the live, leave your comments, leave your thoughts. Make sure, though, that you're leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. If you have a couple seconds on your phone, go back and hype some old videos. Check those memberships are as well. Check out the United vs. Everybody store. Tons of designs in there, one-of-a-kind gear. None of it goes to the Glazers. None of it goes to Sir Jim. It all goes to help the channel, and you're not spending a ton. I don't charge a lot. I don't even I make maybe $2 off of everything. I don't charge a lot at all. I charge enough to like make it semi-worth it, but it's free for me to do it, so I'm not going to try to get rich off it. But I would just love it if I saw random people wearing the shit every now and then. That would be hilarious to see it on TV or something, or go to Old Trafford and see somebody wearing it. But until next time, you guys, take it easy. I will see you on this scouting report special either later on today or tomorrow. And then obviously we've got to preview the Brighton match of the FA Cup to prepare for as well. So keep a lookout for all of that. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.